Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pamela Msoni Enes, who relocated to the Republic of Ireland from Zimbabwe in 2021. 4 years later, I've thought to come back and do a check-in. Before we go any further, please do like, share, subscribe this video. 8 people away from 2K, so please just hit the subscribe button. Anyway, let's talk about life in Ireland 4 years later. I'm almost 5 years in now, and I just wanted to have a catch up with everyone. The people I started with, the people who've watched some of my videos along the way as they've relocated. I just wanted to tell you where I'm at, and hopefully you'll comment down below where you're at as well a few months, a few years later after relocating to Ireland. So first of all, I'd like to say I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a life that is way better than the life I would have had back in Zimbabwe. I'm grateful to be able to afford the small things. I'm grateful to be able to give my children a better life, to give my children a life possibly better than the one I had. I'm grateful for that all day, every day. So yeah, I think we all agree that the cost of living has gone up in Ireland. Things have gotten expensive. I remember when I moved here and I was staying by myself, I would buy myself, I think, grocery of 50 euro for the month with all the luxuries that I can think of. But now, and I remember even when my family joined me and we're a family of 3, my top-ups per week could be 30 euro or 20 euro even. But now I could even top up for 100 euro every week. So it's all about budgeting. So definitely the cost of living has gone up, but still with the salaries that we're getting, we were still able to afford a decent lifestyle. We're still able to eat decently. We're still able to pay our rents, which is something we all have to be grateful for. Still on that note, before I go any further, I want to just mention that something that has been very prevalent, or that I've noticed in the last couple of months, is definitely the hate on social media against immigrants. I think this is my opinion from what I've seen, especially on platforms like TikTok. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I was saying I've noticed loads of hate in the past couple of months or in the last year. I think there's an assumption that everyone who's immigrated or who's moved to Ireland is just here maybe as an asylum seeker to gain something, or just come here to live off benefits. Yet a huge chunk of us actually critical skill permit holders, a huge chunk of us are contributing significantly to the health sector in terms of workforce or in terms of human resources. And I find it very unfair that we're all painted with the same brush, where the assumption is that we're just here to get free houses and live off benefits, yet most of us are equally paying tax. Nothing wrong with those who came as asylum seekers, that their own reasons, but don't paint everyone with the same brush, in as much as we would never paint all the Irish with the same brush and say, let's just spread love and stop hating. Anyway, I'm not going to babble on for ages about that, because I feel like I have an equal right to be here. I pay my taxes, I work hard. Guys, I was saying, I feel like being here 4 years, I think they say the more you have, the more responsibilities you have, the more you spend. So I feel like in as much as we can afford more than we used to, we were able to before, we have more responsibilities. There's always more things that come up. But also I'm grateful that we're able to do more things that we could have done if we're still nurses back home. Some are building houses, some have built houses, some have bought houses here. Kudos to everyone who's doing the best. Kudos to everyone who's doing the most. So others can't do that yet because they still have loads of black tax. Maybe they've got siblings that they have to take to school back home, siblings in university, families that depend on them. So it's still a struggle for other people to build their houses or buy houses in Ireland or wherever they've relocated to. And that being said, I'd like to say, don't ever feel pressured by what's happening around you, because you'll see, oh, so and so has bought a house, so and so has bought a house. But when it's not just your time, don't put pressure on yourself. Or if you've still got other responsibilities, you know what is a priority to you. When the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. Things will happen for you just as well as they happen for another person, even if it's 10 years later. So don't rush yourself. And talking about things like buying a house, I've noticed that 4 years in, you'd find that most of the people that you came at the same time with have actually bought houses. But then you forget that those people probably were some of us came straight from Zimbabwe. Some people came from other countries. Maybe they were in Namibia already. They'd already started had built their houses in Zim. So when they got here, all they could look forward to was saving money to buy their houses here. Like I said, responsibilities are different, goals are different. Don't put pressure on yourself. Even now, another thing I've noticed, some people, the rent they are paying, fine, rent is expensive generally in Ireland, but the rent that some people pay, or the rent I pay, would be cheaper than me actually getting a mortgage. I'm not saying that I'm not going to get a mortgage or I'm not going to buy a house because what I'm paying as rent is cheaper than what I'll pay after I get a mortgage. But I'm just saying that there is no rush. Don't feel pressured. Sometimes there's a reason why things haven't happened for you. Anyway, oh, and another thing that's changed a lot, things are evolving. Like permit renewals are now being done online. Only you have to do it way in advance because there's long waiting queues, but I think it's very convenient. But because before you had to email the GADA and then get an appointment date and then go in with your appointment date to get your permit done, and then you have to make sure you're off from work. Whereas now it's easier because you're just doing it in the comfort of your home. You're applying online, you're using your bank card, you pay instantly, then you just wait, and then when they have processed, they post your whatever permit, whether it's a stamp for or whatever, they post it to your house. So I find that things are evolving, things are getting better, a lot of things are being done online, which is wonderful. And then, oh, sorry if I keep looking down, I have my notes down here so that I don't leave anything out. Also, for me, after having just had a baby last year, I find that there's work flexibility, which adds to the work-life balance, which we didn't have so much so back home. You have a choice to say, okay, I can reduce the hours that I'm working. 1, 2, you can say, okay, I can take my parental leave. I can take 6 hours every week, or 1 shift off every 2 weeks, which gives you more time with your kids, or gives you more time to mind your kids, because we all know that childcare is very expensive in Ireland. So there's that flexibility. If you have your partner with you and one is pulling the weight, working more, one can reduce their hours, can take their parental leave, can take annual leave. Like this week, the reason I said, look, I'm going to come and talk to you guys is because I'm on annual leave for a week, because it was flexible for me. My husband is working 5 days. I wouldn't have been able to work 3 or 4 days. So I was like, look, let me just take the week off. You have that flexibility where you can take a week off and just mind your kids and mind your home and mind your life. You have an entitlement to certain annual leave hours every year. You have entitlement to certain parental leave. You have entitlement to parents' leave. So if your child is below 2 years, you can take a certain number of weeks before they turn 2. Unfortunately, with that parents' leave, it's not paid. You just get the government benefit. So it's up to you to weigh your options to say, okay, is it worth it for me to lose a whole salary, or get just something to make me survive for those weeks that I'm off, which is not the full salary that you usually get. So it's all comes down to your budget and how your things are. But at least you have the options where you can take parental leave, you can take a few hours off your normal hours, you can reduce your hours, you can take annual leave, you can take parents benefit. It's very clearly stated, whereas back home it was a struggle, I think, for you to get those kind of benefits. So I really appreciate that in Ireland. And then also, housing is still an issue. Let's talk about the housing, guys. Housing is still an issue everywhere. From 2021, when I came, it was difficult to get a house. Right now, people are struggling, and it's worse now because there's so many more people relocating and so many more people coming in. So I figure it's worse by the day. So it's all grace if you are to get a place to stay, a full house if you're looking to bring your family. But yeah, that's one thing, that even if you want to buy a house, you have to raise the money for the mortgage. After you raise the money for the mortgage, the houses are being bidded, they're going so high, so you actually have to save way more than probably have saved before. So it's a catch-22. Anyway, transport. So transport, I feel, has improved in the small towns way more than it was. I remember the town where I moved to, very rural, very small place. When I came 2021, I had no option but to walk in the rain. I had no option. You could take a taxi, but it would then, if you add up the taxi every single day, it came out very expensive. So you had to sacrifice most of the time to walk, and it should be a 20-minute walk, depending on where you're staying. Could be more, 45 minutes or whatever, to work, maybe in the rain. Now it's improved because there are local buses, but you'd find that if you're living in the outskirts like I do, I live 30 minutes away from where I work. It's a village. For me to get to the bus or to where I can get public transport, there is no transport. You basically need to have a friend to drop you off or to have your own car. And it's way more convenient to have your own car because you can't be asking people to drop you off at the bus and pick you up with the hours that we work and the times that we knock off here. So still, I feel like transport is still a huge issue. I'm sure there are other places like Dublin or the bigger places where buses and trains are easily accessible, but where I am, there's no local bus, there's no train. For me to get to the train, it's about a 30-minute drive there. To get to the nearest bus is about a 10-minute drive there. So I feel like transport is still depending on where you're going. So if you're going to move here, always remember to find out about the place you're moving to, find out about transport, because initially when you get here, you probably don't have a car, you probably haven't sorted out your license issues, especially if you're coming from Zimbabwe. Even if you're coming from South Africa, you still need to convert your license. It's a bit of a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month process, or even more, to get your license if you're not coming from maybe the UK or other European countries where your license is recognized here. So yeah, and then things like doctor's appointments and dentists also have huge waiting lists. You can't just decide, oh, my tooth is painful today, I need to go and see the dentist. You will be waiting for ages to get an appointment. So for your routine checks, you need to probably book way in advance because there's a waiting list of about 2 weeks, unless of course it's an emergency. And then community-wise, I feel like it's grown. Like I've so much people that I can rely on, or that I'm getting to rely on as the years go by. I'm so used to certain things now. Even in my child's school, I'm used to the teachers now. I'm used to the way things are done. In the village, I have certain people I can rely on. Oh, I need this done, or I need advice on this, or even they're more open even to me to come to say, look here, Ines, can you help us with this? I think the community is growing, and it's growing outside just us as Africans, because obviously every place you say, oh look, I know so and so, I know so and so from home. But now it's no longer about the people from home. We've got friends and people from all over the world that I can say, can call our community. And yeah, so besides that, nothing else has changed much in Ireland. It's still a lovely place, lovely scenery, beautiful places to see, places like the Cliffs of Moher, Killarney, Tramore Beach, summertime in Waterford, the Rock of Cashel. If you love to travel, if you love to see places, Ireland has the most beautiful scenery. You will love it here. And yeah, I guess that's basically all I can say. 4 years later, this is how things are. Things are evolving, things are changing, but we're still grateful every single day that we get to see a new day, that we get to be able to afford the things that we afford, that we are able to support our parents or our relatives back home, and the other blessings that come with it. Our family is growing, being able to invest, or being able to get, for those who, like I said, who've gotten mortgages, or for those who've been able to build back home, it's still a blessing nonetheless. So like I said, when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. Don't rush it. Your turn is coming. So if you watched it this far, please like, please share, please subscribe. I'll be doing a series on life in Ireland. So I don't know if I'll do it every day this week, or I'll film and space the videos out, but I'll be talking more. I love to sit down and talk to you guys. So I hope you like the videos. I hope you share. I hope you engage in the comment section. Tell me what life has been like for you in Ireland since you've come in. What changes have you seen? What are you happy about? What do you feel like is cringe or whatever? But anyway, I'm not going to ramble. So please like, please share, please subscribe.